It is easier to fool somebody than to convince them that they've been fooled, is one very wise man, Mark Twain. And you'll be forgiven for being wrong, but they won't forgive you for being right. And I may have butchered that a little bit, but I think that was Thomas Sowell. Two men far wiser than me and able to say so much with so few words in those two phrases. So I just watched a very dejected Paz 49 coming to the realisation that Reform Party have fooled you. And it's very hard to convince Reform voters or members, both, that you've been fooled. But you've been fooled, you've been lied to. They have been your, controlled opposition, I believe would be an apt term. I've made videos about this in the past. I told people you're an idiot if you vote for them. Then this idiot went and voted for them. But I knew that they weren't the party that they were pretending to be. I couldn't bring myself to vote for Labour, and I wanted to destroy the Tories. So I voted for them, but knowing that there was no chance that they would be allowed to win, and certainly there'd be no chance that they would ever do anything to threaten the establishment. If Reform was the government right now, things would be a little bit less worse. But we would not have the reform that you think you're going to have, because the establishment, the system we've got, is so corrupted that it is unreformable. The only way to treat it is to cut out the roots, get that cancer out, and that means most of it has got to go. Buildings can remain, the infrastructure there, and then we can reform some. I'm not an anarchist. We can then rebuild some institutions, and but without the corruption and without the kiddie fiddling. Nigel Farrage is a Tory, and he wants to be part of the establishment. Richard Tice is a Tory, wants to be part of the establishment, and Yusuf is a Muslim. And this is the bit where people had their fingers in their ears going, la 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 la. I know, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right, does it? That, for a nationalist sort of populist party, we'd have a Muslim. But I'm sure he's one of those Muslims that's really, really good. And if he's a Muslim, then he wants a caliphate, right? They are instructed to want this, to take over. And you're idiots if you don't know that, but I forgive you. But will you forgive me? I doubt it. I don't know. I could ramble on and on. Paz, I'm glad if you saw this. I'm glad that you've come to the realisation now, and it is a very, very bitter, bitter black pill you've got to get down here. It is very black and very bitter, but you have to get it down. You have to come to the realisation that currently we do not have a political answer. I've been a member of For Britain with Anne-Marie Waters. I've been a member of UKIP in the past. I've campaigned for them. I stood for local election. I've been in this for a while, and there was no way I was going to be a member of Reform. Absolutely not, because Nigel Farage showed us. He showed us at the end of Brexit that he didn't have it in him for it. He didn't actually want what he was campaigning for anymore. He was controlled opposition then, and he still is. And yes, he's a very good orator, and he can make you feel really good with a speech. Throw some red meat to you, convince you that he really, really, really means it, but he doesn't. And I wonder. I've said this before. I think a plane crash he had a serious effect on him, and me too, by the way. I'm not saying I would have carried on, but Nigel, go away. We don't want you anymore. You're now causing more harm. We don't have a Trump, right? We don't have one. This is the final thing I wanted to lead to. Sorry, I made no notes, no plan of this. Is Tommy. Currently, we have a very, very prominent political prisoner who's being tortured for being a good journalist and exposing corruption to many, many millions of people. Tens, if not hundreds now, of millions of people are aware of how corrupt our establishment is because of that man. Now, I'm saying there is slight concerns over his very close affiliation with Israel. There's an issue there. There's an issue there for sure. But he is the closest thing we have to a Trump. And if he survives his incarceration, and then if there's anything other than just a shell of the man he was left after that, because he is a tough son of a bitch. He is a very, very brave guy. But what they're putting him through is evil. And it is meant to destroy him. And it's meant to send a message to people like me that would put my face on the internet and say what has to be said. Fucking terrifying, all of this. You know, you want that? Not really. But here I am. I will put my face on it and I will say it because I love my country. I believe that Tommy's probably our only option to be prominent in a political party, a party that is unashamedly supportive of him, like Trump has done with his cabinet, to have people around him that are brave, that know what has to be done and will not cow down and not try to say nice things when they have to fit in, to be, you know, more digestible. We need that. We need that stark, harsh party that are prepared to say what has to be said. That is our only possible political solution to get our country back. Otherwise, I will, if there isn't another option, I will vote Labour next time. I will vote for more of that to wake more people up. You know, if that's not enough to show people that you know, it's not to vote for them, then let's have more of it, and then that will wake more people up. But other than that, yeah, let's see if we can get a party like that together and forget Reform. And if you are a paid up member of Reform, vote with your feet now, put in your protest vote with them, and cancel your membership. Hurt them in the pocket. Let them know that you are not going to support them anymore, and let them suffer. Let them realise that. Who knows? They might be propped up by some other billionaires. I would imagine they probably would be. They maybe don't even need your money. I don't know. Anyway, that's it really. Have a good day. Fucking miserable.